Hello there, it's me, Joshua Harrell, Chief Revenue Officer and Travel Marketeer over at World Via. I am so happy that you are here today. Today, I wanted to come to you and talk to you specifically about how to make the most out of in person industry conferences, meetings, trade shows, things like that. Now, there are loads of virtual events that you go to, and those are fantastic and great opportunities. And some of the things I'm going to talk about today will apply. But I want to speak specifically to attending the in person events because to me, there's an essence of magic in them. And most of them, there's a lot going on. Even a 1-day event, there's a lot going on, but a 4-day event, whoa, tons going on, right? And I'm coming to you with a set of things that I want you to do, I want you to know, I want you to think about, I want you to plan for. But I'm also gonna give you a little bit of the background. So if you're like me, uh, I while I know it seems odd, I am terribly shy. I am frightfully shy, okay? But I have had to come up with tricks, techniques, things like that to help me show up at in-person events. Now, other people have no issues with it, and goodness, that's so wonderful. But that's not me. So I'm going to add a little bit of that into what I'm going to share with you today. But then I'm also going to share with you some things that even those people who are so outgoing and have no trouble showing up at an in-person event, some things that I know for a fact that they struggle with, and that is going with a purpose and, going with a mission, right? And accomplishing what they intended to do when they went to these in-person events. So I'm gonna talk you through some systems. That's what travel marketeering is all about, the systems that we apply to sales, marketing, and service delivery. So I'm gonna give you some of the systems, and I'm gonna give you some stories, okay? Because I think that that is what I can do to help best illustrate my point my points, I should say. But also, I want you to just sit with me for a little bit and think about maybe the last in-person event that you attended and what went well, what did you think didn't go well, and how might you do it differently, okay? Because the great thing about live events is they are live, and, you don't get do-overs. But in this industry, there are tons of in-person events, and when it comes down to it, we are a human to human industry. These connections that we make at these in person events, they fuel our business. They fuel our business and take us where we want to go. And it's also a part of the fun of this industry. I mean, let's be honest, you could sell a lot of things, say online. You can have an e commerce store, but you don't get to talk about these beautiful destinations, these beautiful people, the culture, and then you don't get to share a community like the travel industry. And I find it remarkable. I come from a little bit about me. I come from the cosmetic industry. Great industry, a lot of fun. I used to sell products on QVC. I used to have retail stores. I mean, it was a beautiful industry. I really enjoyed it, but nothing comes close to being in the travel industry and being in the travel community, okay? Now, I as I said, I've got some systems, I've got some checklists, things like that. If you want to follow along, please go to worldviatravelnetwork.com to the blog. I've got an article up there called Maximizing Your Industry Conference Experience, a guide for travel advisors. That is the framework for today's conversation. Now, what's not in this article is some of the stories and some of the practical advice that I'm going to share with you. So I hope you're ready. We're gonna have a good time, and I guarantee you, you are going to go to your next industry conference with a different mindset, a little insider knowledge. Hey, that doesn't hurt, right? Okay. So, first and foremost, okay, there are one-day events, there are multi-day events, there are sometimes in-destination events. Um, there are ASTA chapter conferences, local meetups, uh, different things like that. So those are all events, those are all industry events, and the things that we're talking about, they all apply, okay? But I'm gonna keep referring to it as a conference just because that's a little easier for me. I don't wanna bounce back and forth. So we're gonna talk about conferences, and like I said, they can be multi-days, they can be one day, but all this applies. So if you are going to a conference, you maybe it's something you had heard about, maybe it's something you've been before, where you've been before. It may be something that just has intrigued you. You saw some an advertisement for it, and you're like, oh, you know what? I think this would help me grow as an individual, or help me learn about XYZ. So there was something about the conference that hooked you. Now, once you've decided to go, you've registered, you've done all the things that you need to do. But I want you to sit down, and maybe this is even before you actually you take the plunge and register. But figure out what your goals are for the event. Um, and an outcome of going to an event is that you're going to network, right? But what I have found, if you don't have a set goal, a 2 to 3 objectives when you go to a conference, you you might have met some cool people, you might have learned some cool things, but afterwards, you don't feel like you've accomplished something. And you've spent money on this conference. Either it's cash money or it's your time. So you've spent time on this. And to leave an event and not feel like you accomplished something tangible, it messes with your mind and potentially prevents you from going to other conferences in the future. So these don't have to be huge goals, but I want you to write down 2 to 3 objectives for the conference. What do you hope to achieve? And please do not say, I'm going to increase my sales by 50%. That would be lovely. I would like to increase mine by 100%. Okay. That's not what I'm talking about here. It's who do you wanna meet? What connection specifically do you want to make? Is there a supplier partner that you know the brand, you've done the training, but you haven't made a connection yet with your local person? Or maybe there's somebody in the groups department that you wanna meet. What is there a product that you've never really experienced, you've never done any training, but you wanna talk to somebody because maybe you've seen online that they do this, that, and the other, but you want someone to break that down for you a little bit. Now, of course, you could reach out to that supplier, through other means, but if you know they're gonna be at this event, you put them down on the list. Is there somebody that you have to meet? Is there something that you specifically want to learn? And it might not be something that's in the breakout sessions. It might be something, maybe you want to talk to advisors about a tool that you're hearing a lot about. And you've seen some posts on Facebook groups, things like that, but you want to talk to somebody that maybe has used these tools. That's that's one of your objectives. Okay. So just jot down what will this conference bring you, or what do you hope it will bring you, and have that written down. I was just at an event with someone, who was newer to the industry and, wanted to meet specific people across, the suppliers who were in attendance, and no lie, had a piece of paper and had the names of the people. And I was riding in the car with them and I heard them talk about, oh, they want to meet so and so, they want to meet so and so. Um, because they were actually visiting from another country. Sorry, that's an important part of the story. So visiting from another part of the country, another country. They needed to make the most out of this event. They needed to meet these people, and there was no guarantee. There was no trade show where you could make sure that you were going to meet everybody. So they enlisted my help. They said, "Hey, you've been to this before. Do you know any of these people?" And I knew half of the list. Now, I had my own agenda for the meeting, for the event, but hey, this industry is all about helping each other out. So I was more than happy to introduce these people to people that I knew in the industry. Now, you might say, "Well, I don't have time for that." I don't think you would say that, but I'm just for my example, you might think, "I don't have time for that. I've got my own mission here." Well, guess what? Just like marketing to your clients and having a reason to talk to your clients, I now was I had a reason to talk to people I knew, but I was helping both people grow their network. Guess what? That's me serving value. So that's a good thing. All right. And that's a way to look at networking, right? It isn't always about who you need to meet, but it's how you continue to build your circle of influence and be the person that's the connector. Okay. As somebody who is terribly shy, that is not my role. But they had a list of people that they wanted to tackle, that sounded very aggressive, I didn't mean that, but they had a list of people that they wanted to tackle, and I was there for them, and I think, in the end, I think I helped them greatly, and you never know, it's like an annuity, that's gonna pay dividends over time, okay, and I'm happy, it felt good to be able to do it, but that was their list, they had, some set objectives, and they were going to make sure they took care of it. Now, with the event, you are going to get an agenda of the event. Now, newsflash here, and here is another one of my little, tangents. I have been in the travel industry for 8 years now. And, those agendas for the event rarely come out well in advance of the event. I have seen, agendas come out, uh, a couple of weeks before an event. So, don't be surprised at that. Your bigger events, generally, that information is published, especially if you have to register for breakout sessions. They've got the general sessions, the bigger sessions that everyone attends, and then you've got your choice of breakout sessions. If you're having to do that kind of registration process, then that comes out more in advance, but not as far in advance as some of the other conferences or industry events that I've been to in other industries. I don't know what it is, but it is a thing. But when you do get that agenda, I want you to go through and I want you to look at it realistically. Okay, guys, and I'm not somebody who looks at an agenda realistically. I am telling you, please learn from my pain. Oh my gosh. Because I look at these things, especially if I'm traveling somewhere, I'm like, well, I've spent a ton of money to get here. I've got to make sure that I do every single thing on the agenda. So I'm going to join the 5 a.m. rise and shine, walk, run through the city, and I know that there's an event that goes on until 11 o'clock that night. I'm gonna be there. So, yeah, that was kinda dumb of me to say I'm gonna get up because if the event starts at 5 and I have to be there, I'm probably gonna get up at what, 3:30, 4, right? And then I've gotta be up until 11? I'm sorry. Grumpy Pants will show up for sure. But that's me being silly, okay? Now, if I wanna do the 5 a.m. thing and I wanna do the thing that runs until 11, I just need to make some choices about what I do in between. Because at the end of the day, I have to be alert, focused, open to networking. I need to be able to make the most out of this event. So if I am so tired I am not going to be able to make the most out of this event. So I need to look at the agenda. What are the must do things on that list? And then what are the things that would be nice to do? And then give yourself space between the things, okay? Between the things where you can process. Maybe you need to go back up to your hotel room and refresh. Maybe. Or maybe you need to crack open that laptop uh, in a section of the lobby and do some work. You're still in the event, but you've stepped out of it for a moment so you can get caught up. But you're not disappearing and losing hours and hours of time at the event. You want to make the most out of it, but don't be ridiculous in thinking that you're going to do everything because I'm sure I'm sure no one has a brand where showing up as a grumpopotamus is going to work for you. I don't know anybody that has a brand that serves them. And when we're hungry and we're tired, Grumpopotamus shows up, and that is your job to be smart about your time and take care of you. Okay, but know what you have to do, know what would be nice to do, and leave time for you to recover, but then also leave time for spontaneity, okay? You you never know who you might meet, the conversations that you might partake in, the opportunities to go and collaborate with people. You just don't know. You don't know. And for some of us, that's not good, right? We need that structure. But again, somebody who's shy, I I look at it like a river, okay? I'm standing on the embankment of that river, okay? I can see trees, I can see blue skies, I know my surroundings. But when I'm looking at that river, I don't know where the water's coming from. I don't know where the water's going, okay? But I know exactly what I see here where I'm standing on the embankment. So if I stay here, I know exactly what to expect. If I jump in that river, I don't know what to expect. It might be just a leisurely ride. It might be wild and crazy. But the one guarantee is it's going to be different than where I am standing today. And when I am going to an in-person event, I want to I want to be open to everything. I don't want to be closed off. I don't want to be hiding. So I choose to jump in that river and meet people, meet new people, have great conversations, sometimes have bad conversations. Let's be real. I mean, some people are it's tough, but you take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. The facts of life. No, so I jump in the river. But you really can't do that if you've overstructured yourself and you don't have any space for spontaneity. So look for those opportunities for spontaneity, and know that that's what you are there for. Okay. The other thing is most of the events, they're going to list who the sponsors are, who the speakers are. So you're going to have that information. Um, a lot of times you'll even have attendee information. Maybe they have an app that you download so you can look at who's coming, which can be really, really helpful. And maybe knowing that you've got friends, people that you've met, and maybe you've had some interactions with in the past. You'll know that they're there. But look at the attendee list. Research attendees, research the suppliers, really take note of the key suppliers, sponsors, the speakers, and the peers you want to meet. Just like the my friends that I met at this last event, they wanted to meet certain people. They knew they were going to be there, so they wanted to meet them. So you do the same thing. That and don't expect that you will get to meet everybody because you might not. Some people fly in and fly out for events, and that's okay. But if that's somebody you want to meet, yeah, make sure you know who they are, maybe a little bit about them. so you can show up prepared. People love that. People absolutely love that. And if there are specific things that you're wanting to know, say from a supplier, you know that they do X, Y, Z, and you're very familiar with X and Y, but Z, you maybe there's some more information you want to glean from an in-person conversation, or at least open the door. So prepare questions that you might have for them, and this doesn't have to be where you have to create dossiers on everybody. It absolutely does not. But you taking a moment to get your head right around showing up and being prepared for this for this conference, it will make you feel more confident, and it will get you closer to the point where you know, hey, I'm going to get what I wanted out of this conference, and I probably will get a little bit more. All right. Now, the other thing that's pretty important about the pre-event work is just pack smart. Okay. Please make sure you have physical business cards. In the article I said, or you can have a digital business card. Um, you know what? I think I'm going to go back and revise that, because at the end of the day, you are in an analog situation. You're not in that virtual environment. Your computer's probably not near. Your iPad's not near. But you need to grab into your bag and get your business card and get business cards from people, okay? It is an old school, uh, tactic, but it works. It absolutely works. And here's a tip that I've shared a few times. You might have heard this already, but my tip to getting a business card from somebody you want their information, right, is to ask them for their business card. That's pretty no-brainer. But while they're getting their business card, I'm getting my business card, and I have it in my pocket. I've got it in my inside jacket pocket, right? So, yes, I wanted their information, but more importantly, I wanted to get my information in their hand. And how awkward is it to be like, "Oh, can I give you my business card?" "Oh, well, yes, sir. Please give me your business card. I would love your business card." No, 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 no. That's not cool. And we're cool. So I'm going to ask you for your business card. Hey, do you have your business card with you? I'd love to be able to connect with you. So they might have to shuffle in their bag and get it because they're not as prepared as you. And while they're doing that, you get yours, and it's a nice exchange. And always present your card like it is of great value. I always put, the information on one side, which is obvious, right, with a business card. But on the back, I always make sure that the logo is there, that the branding is there, and I present the card with my branding first. So what do they have to do? Well, first, they're gonna see my brand, okay, hello, and then they have to flip it around. They've got to spend time with my business card. It works. It absolutely works. So incorporate this into your business card exchange, but make sure you pack the business cards. I can't tell you how many people are like, "Oh, I've got to order some more cards." You knew you were coming to this event. Make sure you got cards. Most places can get cards to you in days. Please, please, please make sure you have business cards, and make sure you have your information, your contact information on your business cards. If you work from your home, some of you don't want your home address on your business card. That's okay. I have met with so many supplier partners who have said, we get business cards and there's not an email address, there's not a phone number. At least if they don't have the address on it, please have a city and state, because maybe they're not the ones that would be working with you. Maybe they've got someone who would be local to you that you'd be working with. But if they don't have that information when they go to enter everything into their CRM, they can't help, okay? And you're relying on memory, and that's not a good thing. So anyway, business cards, super important. Make sure you have a notebook, pad paper, or a device where you can capture notes. Um, I prefer to have a notebook, something that you can write in versus using your phone. And the reason why is this. It looks rude when I'm talking to you and we're having this exchange, and then you're fumbling around on your phone and trying to type things like you're texting someone, okay? You are probably typing in my information. That's great. However, it feels different. It feels like you're texting somebody, "Oh, we need eggs." It feels like that. So a notebook is awesome. Another thing I love to do, which will help you a little bit later, especially if you're trying to remember everybody you met, is I will take a picture of a business card when I get it, so it stays in my timeline, and then I also, "Hey, let's get a selfie real quick." Brum, 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 brum. Take that picture. It helps me remember faces because I might take that business card, I might have the picture of the business card, but if I have a photo of me with that person, it sticks for me better. Plus, there might be an opportunity for me to use that in my content. Just depends on the type of event you're at and who you're meeting. But big proponent of using your phone in that way. However, taking notes on your phone, it just doesn't hit the way you think it hits. So having a notebook is super helpful, or even there's like the remarkable notepads like the iPads, but it doesn't have text messages. It's not dinging at you all the time. You want to show up and you want to be a smooth operator when it comes to taking notes and capturing everything that's happening at your event. And the other thing is for packing, make sure you know when you're looking at that agenda, think about is something a little more dressy? Is there an event that's a little more dressy? Do you have comfortable shoes? If you're doing breakout sessions and going to trade shows, uh, that's you're not going to have time to sit down. So make sure you have comfortable shoes. They could be trainers. They could, depending on the event, could be trainers, but they don't necessarily have to be. They just don't need to be high heels or something where your feet are killing you as you're trying to make your way through a 3-hour trade show. Okay, so just look at the agenda practically. And think about, okay, what do I need to, how do I need to dress for different types of things? Now, I will tell you this, in the travel industry, there are so many themed events. It'll be a 1920s theme. It will be an 80s theme. It will be a TV and movie icon thing. So oftentimes there is some sort of fun event. Oh, I was even at one that had like a camping theme, which that was a whole thing. I couldn't really figure out what I was supposed to wear. But they do it, it's fun. It's a fun activity and the whole attendee group loves to participate and stuff like that. So figure out if there are any of those things. The event organizer is definitely going to tell you about those things. But if you have friends that are going as well, they'll share with you. Maybe they've been before and they've got an idea. And also, just a little tip: just hold on to all these little costumes that you're getting because I swear they're going to show back up again. It's much to my chagrin, I will tell you, because I do not. I like to dress up and have fun, but I do not like a costume. I don't like to be mandated what I'm supposed to wear. But enough about me. All right. General sessions. So general sessions. So now we're at the event, right? So general sessions. Those are the big. Most of the time, you're in a giant ballroom or just a main conference area, and that's where the event is speaking to everyone. Everyone that's come to the event is in the general sessions. It's for everyone. So those I've been to ones that have thousands of people, and I've been to some that have 50. So it doesn't have to be. It's not. They're not all gigantic, but for the most part, you want to arrive early. Not only will you get preferred seating or what your preference, right? But also for the networking. And and you want to be prepared for that. You don't want to be a grumpopotamus when you get to the general session, right? You want to be open. You want to eyes open. The tip that I have is I want you to, whoops, I want you to make sure that you are standing up before the session starts, right? I want you to grab your seat, but just stay standing. You don't need to be stretching, but, be standing and look at people as they come in. This is coming from a very shy person, right? Just, look and, you might catch the attention of somebody and, oh, just a little wave. What am I doing here? I am showing the world that I am friendly and I've come to meet people because I'm here at this event. I want to meet people. I know that's going to sound creepy and weird to some of you, but I'm just saying if I'm there, I want you to know that I'm there. And I don't know, somebody might have heard me raise my hand, ask a question in another session, and they might have information that I didn't know they had to help me do better, to grow, to inspire me. Um, and if they can't find me, that's never going to happen. So get there early, grab the seat that you want. And I always try to sit as close to the stage as possible or to the speaker as possible. I am somebody who likes to engage with the speaker, and believe me, they notice it. They notice if you're looking down at your phone or you've got your laptop open, they notice that too. So be really present. You paid to be there, whether it's cash money or it's your time. So be present, be engaged, and good things will happen. Good things will happen. I'm just telling you, I've seen it over and over again. So take notes. Be you want to capture as many ideas, big ideas, and they might not be the ideas that are being presented on stage. Sometimes it's about what someone talking or you even seeing something. It's more about what you think of when you hear it, when you see it. So take loads of notes. You're not going to remember everything that was said. I love some of these AI tools that are on your phone where they will record the sessions and turn it into a transcription for you. I love those things. Those are fantastic. In fact, I was with somebody a few months ago, and I was furious. Feverishly. I was feverishly taking notes, and she was, is feverish the word I wanna use there? I was really intense on taking the notes. Anyway, she was very calm, cool, collected, and I'm like, "Girl, I know you don't know all this information." Because it was good stuff, and she said, "Oh, no, 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 no. What I do is I have my AI tool and it's doing the transcription and will give me some really good notes." But what she found is that that gives her the confidence to be in the moment, and then she starts to formulate ideas that aren't even what's being talked about right now. Not even talked about right now. So not only will she have the specifics of the talk, she has her own impressions that she's got the confidence and the space to take that all in. I think that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. So kudos to her for sharing that with me, and I hope that it empowers you. Now, something else that is, you're in these meetings, you're in these sessions, right? And for the most part, you're thinking of how does this impact my business, right? That's the context we're in. But even something that you've heard before, especially when it's talking about a destination or a product or a brand, um, maybe it's something you've heard before, but you might have a client that you've worked with in the past that this product might be right for, or you have a new inquiry that's come in that maybe they came in asking for one thing, but what just got resurfaced in this general session sparks you to think about, oh, wait a minute, I could share this with this client, right? So I I I I want you to always think about what you know, what you don't know, and connect the gap between those 2 things and think well beyond yourself. It seems obvious that you'd be thinking about your clients, but you'd be surprised at how many people get so caught up in the, "Oh, I've gotta stand up and be seen. I've got to, make sure I've got my business cards in my pocket." There's so many things going on that they're not actually thinking about creating business in these sessions and in these in-person events. So I just want to give you that little note, hey. So outside of the general sessions, there are most of the time there are breakout sessions, especially with the larger events. Breakout sessions are the ones where there's like 6 or 12 classrooms running at any given time, and there's different types of classes in all of those. Those are the ones that you will generally register for in advance. So I want you to choose breakout sessions that fill knowledge gaps that you have, okay, and or support your goals, okay. So again, going back to those objectives you have for the event, what do you need to do? What do you want to accomplish out of this event? And choose those sessions, okay? Because every these events are creating these organizers are creating so much content. They want to make sure that they can serve everyone, but there might be something that you need to explore. You need to be open to being able to explore that. Yes, you could explore online, but let's be honest, in person is where some magic happens. So pick the classes, the breakout sessions that you think will fill a gap or help you reach your goals. And sometimes it's a topic that you know, but maybe the speaker is the person that you really want to connect with. So, in that case, go to that breakout session. You might know a lot of the information. I guarantee you'll probably be inspired by something, but really be intentional about what you choose, okay? And the ones that you don't get to go to, maybe those are good too. Maybe you're struggling because you're not sure what which one will be the most impactful. Make a decision, stick to it, and take down the name of the session, the description of the session. Take down the speaker. You might find out that they've got some of this content available online, or maybe you're going to see them at another event. Okay, you don't need to. It's not all gone. It's not. It's not something you have to give up on. Um, if there was a reason why you felt like, oh, this is something I should probably partake in. Um, hold on to that, don't lose that. But pick a breakout session that really is going to support you in your goals, and expand your horizons. Super, super important. Now, when you're in these breakout sessions, those are generally smaller groups. I've been in breakout sessions that have actually been up to about 150 people, but most of the time there's always Q&A time. If you're in a smaller group, most of the time the speaker has opened it up for, hey, if you have a question, raise your hand. Raise your hand, okay? Raise your hand. You are in that session. It is a shared experience, not only with your fellow attendees, but that speaker, okay? This is a one moment in time where you can connect with humans at a much larger scale. That speaker would love for you to ask questions. Please try to stay in the conversation vein. If you go completely off script, that is very jarring. But make help that speaker give their best performance by supporting something they say, that you believe in, or asking for clarification on something that maybe they just mentioned quickly, and you're like, wait a minute, what did you really mean by that? Because that gives them an opportunity to clarify. And I guarantee you, if you have that question, somebody else in that room has the same question. So it really it's something where I have found as a speaker and as an attendee, when the room is engaged, magic happens. And those are some of the best experiences ever. And it might be a 45-minute session, but the seeds that have been planted last a lifetime. So d d be engaged, ask questions, communicate with your attendees, be really present. It's a performance for you as well. You are there, you're a part of it. And if there's any actionable takeaways, capture those in your notes. And if there's resources that the speaker has told you about, then go find those. If there's a book that they were talking about, or an author that they were talking about, go and look at it. It might be something you get, might be something you don't, but it's a part of this. You didn't know that the store was going to open up and you were going to be exposed to these different things. Again, it's just all about being really super present. Now, for most industry events, there's some kind of a trade show experience, and that's where maybe it's even just tables within a bigger room where you can go and sit down with different suppliers, or it could be where there are actual trade show booths. Um, if it's a big event, oftentimes the organizer has put together a list of here's the here's a map of the trade show floor and who's going to be where. Okay, from a supplier standpoint, maybe not necessarily an individual person standpoint. So what I have seen people do over and over again is they've taken the map and they have taken a highlighter and they have circled every single booth that they need to hit. Okay, um, and it could be based on maybe they know the person, the supplier representative who's going to be there, and they want to make sure they stop by and say hey. Um, or it could be, I need to meet a human being at this brand. I've only interacted with their website and their training. I need to make contact because at the end of the day, these guys are here to help grow their business and your business. You showing up, you saying hi, you exchanging business cards, this is what they're there for. So don't let it pass you by. And I'm the type of guy who walks that trade show floor and maybe I don't know somebody over there, and if they don't look up, then I walk past them. I just, my moment passed. I think I would be terrible at dating because I really think I would be. But that's a personal subject and we're not going to go there. But I'm just saying, walking that floor and not being intentional about who you need to meet, it's a missed opportunity. So know who you want to meet, know again what you're wanting to find out, maybe you want to contact, maybe you want to talk about something specific, but have that mapped out ahead of time, and you make sure you know how to talk about yourself and your agency. Okay? I talk about it all the time with your elevator pitch. What do you do and who do you serve? Okay? Make sure that that rolls off your tongue. In fact, if you're in the brand strategy phase and you're building your brand, a trade show floor is one of the best ways to take it out for a drive. See if it works, okay? Because you're going to say it over and over again. Oh, what do you do? What do you focus on? What's your niche? People are going to ask. If you can deliver that in a way that it flows and it's memorable, I guarantee you're gonna get calls afterwards. You're gonna get follow-ups from the people you meet. Again, it could be peers and it could be the supplier partners, but making sure that you can clearly convey what you do and who you do it for will serve you in so many ways. But a trade show floor, because you're going to have to do it over and over again, and you're on, right? Because you're with other advisors and agency owners, right? You're on. So it's a different way to practice it, but it works. Okay. Um, I There's always swag. There's always freebies and little trinkets and things, that suppliers have, and they don't wanna go home with it. That is an insider tip. They do not wanna go home with it. So, they have brought it because they would like you to take it. Now, don't be rude. Don't take a lot. But, it is something that they got things to help you remember their brand and think of their brand. So feel free to take those, and the same thing with brochures and all the different types of collateral that they bring. If you want it, sometimes that's the only way to get it because it used to be you could just order these things and they would come in the mail. Now, not so much. So this might be your one chance to get a beautiful brochure that you can take your clients through, or you can get inspired by. So please know that they want you to take them and collect as much as possible. In fact, another tip that I have from many trade show goers is bring an empty suitcase so you can transfer all this stuff and you don't have to pay to ship it. Okay. It may sound silly, but if you're taking a bunch of brochures, those get pretty heavy. So make sure that you and maybe have a little cart with you as you're moving around the trade show floor. You know, you don't want to look like you're going grocery shopping, but you also don't want to leave like you're going to school with all your textbooks in your hands, right? So whatever's convenient for you, just make sure that you've got a mission and you stay on track and you stay open to meeting people. And a lot of times these events have fun uh, opportunities to interact with the booth, and just have fun, take photos, things like that. Jump in, take advantage of it. You'll want that. It's another opportunity to do selfies. Hey, let's get a selfie. Let's get a selfie. Or, let me take a picture of this booth. It helps you remember later, and you're going to want to remember some of these things later. So please capture as much as possible. And if somebody says, because they're at a trade show, there's a lot of people moving around. If somebody says, "Hey, when I get back to my office, I will send you XYZ." Make sure you have their contact information and make sure you follow up with them because that again is why you're there and it's why they are there. They will appreciate it. You are not bothering them. Okay, just say, "Hey, it was so nice to meet you. I know you said that when you got back, you would be able to send me XYZ. I would love, to get that when you get a chance, and, hey, I look forward to chatting with you soon. Just, keep it light, keep it fun, but make sure you follow up with everyone. Now, if you are a shy person, you don't you see the networking events, the mixers, the meals, the informal gatherings, and you're like, "Ugh, I do not wanna do that." Make yourself go. Now, those of you who love that sort of thing, you go and let your colors fly, okay? These things were definitely made for you. But for those of us who may be a little more reserved, uh, even if you don't want to stay the whole time, make sure you show up at the start and at least walk the floor. At least walk the floor. Be seen and see, experience what they've put together, okay? You never know, and 9 times out of 10, I have said, "Oh, I do not wanna go to something," and afterwards, I'm like, "I am so glad I went to that thing," okay? So be very focused. You're trying to make the most out of this. You never know. You might even be inspired if you're in a type of business where you throw events. Then you might be inspired by something that was going on at this mixer or this meal. So there's loads of ways that it can benefit you, but make yourself go and at least walk the floor. Okay, and then it might be where you meet people just super easy, and it might be where you don't. So I've had great success myself, and I've seen it in others where I say, "I'm gonna meet 3 people." It has to be 3 people. It always has to be 3 people. It might end up being 17 people, but it's gotta be 3 people. And I the way that I'm gonna meet them, I don't know at the time. I just know it's gotta be 3 people. That's also my trick to making sure that I stay, long, or as long as I need to, because, yes, I could walk the floor, but I could also not be in the place to meet people or interact with people. So I'm not focused, right? But if I have to meet 3 people, then I could be getting some tea from the tea station and then I get to meet this person next to me. "Oh, where are you from?" "Oh my gosh, I used to live there, blah, 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 blah." Right? Fun. Okay, meet that person. Or it could be an executive with a supplier. "Oh, I just love your brand. My clients always enjoy when I put together a vacation with you. Thank you so much." So, I mean, that's not even really an introduction. That's just me saying that's me giving a heartfelt compliment. But you never know; they might introduce me to someone else. Now I've just knocked off 2 people on my 3-person list. Just saying, little tricks work, and, another thing too, when you're meeting people, Don't just think about what's in it for you on the surface level. Like, if I meet this supplier, then I could probably do business with them. There's collaboration opportunities. So be open to that. They might invite you, maybe they've got a group of peers that get together once a month, and they talk about their businesses and they inspire each other. You never know, there could be something like that, or you could be asked to be on an advisory board. That's a pretty cool thing. It's a great way for you to get involved in the industry, learn more, expand your horizons, and meet more people, expanding your circle of influence. So, just important, be open, and be seen. Now, a little story I have that I want to share with you about being seen. A friend of mine who I met at my first industry event, I thought she was really cool. Met her on the first day, but man, I saw her all the time. It was like, and she had like a little bit of stage time, and then she had breakout sessions, and she had trade show time. So she was on the supplier side, but I felt like this was her event. She was everywhere. Well, come to find out, it's a part of her strategy. Her company pays a lot of money for her to be there. And she went to an event one time and did all the things that she was required to do. And the organizer of the event met her boss a few months later and said, "Oh, you guys should really come to my event." And her boss said, "We were." And the organizer said, "Oh, I didn't see her. Sorry about that." So then the boss had to have a little talking to, and she said, "Oh, no, no, I was there." So what she does, not only does she do the things she has to do, she makes sure that at least 3 times a day, she walks the entire conference area, whether it's like a small hotel setup or a big resort setup. So, at any given time, you are seeing her. There's an opportunity for you to connect. "Oh, that's so and so with that brand," right? Boom, that's a connection. Or she even cracks open her laptop in a lobby area, so you are seeing her, and maybe you do want to talk to her, so you go and interrupt her while she's working. I mean, that's a little rude. It's not. That's what she's there for. But the whole idea is that she never wanted that to happen again. And what has come out of that, not only do people know that she's at the event, but she said she's had so many spontaneous conversations that have led to mutually beneficial business relationships that it was worth it. It was absolutely worth it. So think about that from your perspective of attending an event. Being seen and for people to be able to find you and for these spontaneous conversations to happen, you have to be out of your room. You can't be off in a corner hiding. You need to be visible and a part of the event, even if it's outside of the normal functions of the event. So think about that, okay? Just I found that to be a very interesting thing that I have now incorporated into how I show up at an in-person conference. And the I kind of referenced this earlier, but I wanted to give you this power tip that I it's so obvious. It's so dumb that it's so obvious. I mean, how I never thought about this, but a friend of mine, Angela, who joined us at one of our regional events, I hadn't seen her in a while, and I did a quick interview with her. I wanted to share with our network, and she was an agency owner, and now she works on the supplier side, and she was a successful agency owner. So whenever she talked, I listened because I would always glean something. But she said the way that she would approach any event, big or small, is when the speaker was speaking, obviously give them all the attention they need. But she always tries to write down. So if Royal Caribbean gets up, if Globus gets up, if Sandals gets up in that order, she writes down the brand and who was the speaker. Okay, very, very helpful. And she puts 3 dots, 3 bullets under each, business's name, and as she's listening to the person give a presentation, She thinks about a client that that product, that brand, that itinerary would be good for, that a destination would be good for whatever reason. It could be somebody she knows very well, somebody she doesn't know that well. But outside of what she would put into her normal, like larger, broadcast type email marketing or social media, she thinks about one on one outreach based on who got up and spoke. Okay. And she treats that speaking time as if it's a one on one conversation with her. So Amy from Globus was up talking about this, that, and the other. Okay. And she has named three customers that she knows she could text, email, DM on social media, or even call, okay, and say, "Oh my gosh." So this is what she does in the breaks, or she'll do it the next day, but she tries to do it within the breaks because it feels newsworthy. It feels there's a reason to reach out. And she'll say something like, "Hey, Barbara, I was just listening to a friend of mine, Amy, talking about this cruise, this wine lover cruise, right? And I immediately thought about you. This brand is doing some really cool things and has put together some really unique excursions, and I think this is what you were looking for back when we were talking a little while ago or whatever. It's conversational, right? Maybe she's leaving a voicemail, maybe it's a DM, so it's a little shorter. So pick the style. But the fact that she is on a mission when that person gets up and speaks, that she needs to get three names for every single one of those speakers, it causes her to do this one-on-one outreach, and she was seeing, or it caused her, and she saw results. I think that's a pretty easy lift, don't you think? Everybody could do that. So think about that. That is a power tip, real time client outreach, and it feels newsworthy, right? It feels, oh, I just got done listening to Amy speak, and it made me think of you, Barbara. Okay, now you made Barbara feel like a rock star. I'm sure she didn't think you were thinking about her today, and you just did that. This is the kind of magic that happens, but you can structure it. You can structure to make sure it happens. So I hope you like that one. Now, while you're at the event, again, like I was saying about scheduling, take care of yourself. Stay hydrated. I know that sounds so basic, like, oh, please drink water. Your mouth will get dry, you've been talking, the temperature is gonna be cold, hot, I mean, it's just gonna be all over the place. Take care of yourself so you don't you are charged, and when you get back from this conference, you can take advantage of all the inspiration and all the knowledge you have. Review those notes that you have at the end of each day, highlight the must-do ideas, and something I love to do, and I'm telling you, I am so tired at the end of the day, I am drained. But if I have a business card for anybody, I go and find them on LinkedIn and I connect with them. If I'll try to do a personalized note if I can, but I try to connect with them. Why do I do that? Well, because some people have those notifications on their phone, and while I'm doing this, they're getting a notification and then they're remembering me. And they might, even though they might have heard me say what I do, they might get a better picture of what I do because they looked at my LinkedIn profile, while they're getting ready for bed, while they've got CNN on. Okay. It's a little thing I've always done, and I think I've done all right with it. So I would highly recommend that you do that. Now, after the conference, I know, man, this was a long conference, wasn't it? There was a lot going on. But after the conference, you got to turn that inspiration into action. Okay. It's not just I experienced it and I lived through it and now I'm done. Right. No, you went, you invested your time, your money, you got to be able to do something with it. So the real value in the conference is what you learned and what it inspired you to do. So here's how to to avoid feeling overwhelmed and make progress, okay? So, first, I want you to take, whether it's paper notes or digital notes, I want you to organize your notes into categories. So, here's you can have other categories, but here's some that that I'm sharing. New ideas. What's something brand new that you just didn't think about? Not an aha moment, but something that's just like, wow, that's a brand new idea. I need to explore that further. Suppliers, marketing, operations, technology. So those kind of big bucket ideas. If you've got paper notes, rip them out of the notebook and organize them into those categories. If you got multiple ideas on a page, then chop those up, put them on post-it notes. Just get them organized and get them into buckets, so you can really tackle each bucket, each category. Create a spreadsheet. Just drop the ideas into a spreadsheet, and then assign yourself a task, to follow up. And this spreadsheet is how you'll keep track of all those ideas. You don't want to lose the ideas. You don't have to act on every single one of them right away, but don't lose the ideas. So keep the spreadsheet up to date with, did you follow up? Did you close the loop on something? Did you introduce yourself to the person that you were told to introduce yourself to based on the meeting? Get all that in a spreadsheet, so you can track the follow-up, and then prioritize those action items. What are quick wins? What are things that you can do in an hour? An email, a social media post. What are those? Are quick wins. Those are things that don't take a lot of time. Organize those things as quick wins. What about the high impact items? What will make the biggest difference in your business? That could be adopting a feature of your CRM that you weren't using because you heard somebody talking about it and you're like, I should be doing that. I am doing all of this by hand. I need to do this. That's a high impact item. Launching a new marketing campaign. A marketing campaign is has multiple touch points, has multiple assets, is a bigger picture item, right? If you are inspired to do something like that, that's a high impact activity. It might take a little bit of time, but it's not a mammoth project. And then what about your long-term projects? What needs more planning? What needs more sit down, work on, or maybe it has multiple tasks that are involved. Building a new supplier relationship. So maybe you met somebody at this event. A quick win would be to send them a follow-up email, but to develop that relationship, that's gonna take a little bit of time, right? So that's a longer term project. What about redesigning your website? A lot of times you go to an event and you're like, you know what? I need to use some of the media assets that this partner has available. I want to incorporate that in my website. Or I heard somebody speak about how websites could be your number one salesperson, and they gave me some great tips, right? It's a longer term project. It's not just a quick changing out some text. It's something that is going to take a little work. So, what are your quick wins? What are your high impact? And what are your long term projects? Prioritize your action items. Um, Make a 30-day action plan. If you don't have an action plan, you might just have a bunch of notes, right? But you're going to take action. You have showed up at this event. You were prepared for this event. You made sure that you were open to all the networking opportunities. You pushed yourself to make the most out of this event. So create that action plan and take it serious, just like doing a business plan. Set deadlines for your top 3, 5 priorities, and stick to it, right? Of course, sometimes you might need to let it slide, but out of everything that you captured, you've got it in your spreadsheet, you've identified the quick wins, the high impact, the long-term projects, but set deadlines for the 3 to 5, priorities, okay? Schedule time on your calendar each week. That's not just for conferences, that's for anything that you've got a time-based deadline on. Carve out time in your calendar. Sure, it may block your availability for new clients to meet with you, but I have rarely found someone to get anything done that they wanted to get done if they didn't schedule time to do it. So this was important for you to go to this event. it's important for you to schedule the time to get the things done, okay? And another thing that I find is really helpful is having an accountability partner. Maybe it's a mentor or a business coach of yours. Explain to them, sorry, my phone's going off. Explain to them what you hope to get out of you attending these events, and talk them through your ideas in terms of the different takeaways that you had from the event. What what are some things that that they can hold you accountable for? You said you're going to do XYZ in the next 30 days. Make sure that they know what those things are that you wanted to do, or even some of the outcomes that you wanted, because that oftentimes feels really good when somebody can celebrate your wins with you. All right. But you got to let them in to be able to do that. Um, I talked about this earlier about follow up with your new connections. This is another power tip. Send personalized thank you notes to your suppliers and peers who you met. Some of them might be you just met them, but some of them you've met before. That handwritten note goes so far. And I know some of you have bad handwriting. I know you're thinking that right now. You're like, I've got bad handwriting. Try, try it. I have used it for years as a just it's a way for me to personalize the connection. It's a tangible thing. Sure, I can send an email, sure, I can send a text, but that piece of mail that comes maybe a week and a half after I ran into them, I have had people say, "That stood out to me." And ultimately, that's what you're trying to do, right? It helps deepen those relationships. It just feels good. So I highly recommend it. You don't have to get something super fancy. I order stationery. Just it's a little postcard size that has an envelope, but I have my signature embossed on it. So it's personalized. I mean, it's a unique piece of stationery from me, but it doesn't even have to be that fancy. Your handwritten note that says, "It was so great seeing you again. I can't wait until we can get together." Um, that little simple bit of messaging will really go far, and incorporate it into your mix. Again, it's a part of your whole template of your project template of how you show up at an event. Um, in emails, an email follow-up, maybe there's someone you're doing more of a follow-up of, with details. Maybe you've got a client that you, are interested in working with this supplier, more closely, to execute their vacation or put together their vacation. Recap the conversation, reintroduce yourself if this is your first time, communicating with them via email. Say, "Hi, we met at the trade show. I'm the guy that was wearing the purple sequins." Okay, well, I guarantee you I'm probably one of the few people, but we were talking specifically about my client, who is wanting to take their family to Japan, da 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 da. Give refresh their mind and, allow them to remember how you made them feel. That is so important. How you make people feel is what they remember. So remind them about how you make them feel so they can help support you. And at the end of the day, everybody's there to grow your respective businesses. So, yeah, recap your conversation and suggest those next steps. You don't have to be aggressive, but you can say, "Hey, would you be available to get on a call next week or this week?" It just depends on the scenario. It's okay. Don't if you're reaching out, even if you're recapping the conversation, ask them the questions that you need to ask them. Set up the next steps. Do it. Okay. Do it. That's not what I wanted to say, but you know what I meant. Just do it. That's what I wanted to say. Um, Something that is also very helpful, and I find it is very useful in um, just just reconnecting to information, is host a debrief of the event with your team or peers. Maybe you're a part of a group, a community of advisors. Uh, share the takeaways that you got. Discuss how you want to implement them. Uh, you are now the one with information, right? And what do they say about those those who, who can do, those who can't teach, because teaching is you have to capture the information, right? You have to be able to retell the information. I'm not saying you can't do things. I'm just saying if you know you're going to debrief your team or debrief your peers, and share those takeaways, uh, you're going to remember that you're gonna capture the information differently, and you're not even gonna just think about how this information impacts you, you're gonna think about how you can share it with someone else, and you never know what that might inspire, what action that might inspire, and how you might multiply the goodness by being the sharer of this information. See, going to these in-person events isn't just about registering, getting a badge, and then sitting in a seat. You can make this extremely impactful in your business and within your network. Another thing you could do, depending on the type of conference and the type of information, you might want to do a blog about that experience. You might want to do a vlog. You might want to do a video story about it. Or maybe you learn so much, you create multiple blog articles or multiple vlogs or both. You could do both. Um, but 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 this is a way that you can take this inspiration that you got and turn it into so much more. Just find what's right for you, right? Find what's right for you and what's right for your audience. And the next thing that I want to share with you is revisit and reflect. After 30 days, review your progress, right? Do your 30-day action plan, set time on your calendar to review your progress. Where do you still have opportunity to continue to work on this? Where did you crush your goals? What's working? What needs adjustment? And celebrate those wins, no matter how small. Even that personal thank you note, the little note card that you sent out, the fact that that person texted you and said, "I just got your note. No one sends these anymore. Thank you." Right? That's a win, and it should be celebrated. So, all in all, those pro tips are: be present, limit those distractions, stay off your email, social media, um, except for sharing those updates or doing that one-on-one outreach. Network with purpose, go beyond the small talk. Yes, talking about the weather can open the door, but let people get to know you, expand your network. You never know where that river is going to take you. All right. Now, I hope this was extremely helpful. I want it to be extremely valuable to you. I want it to have helped you. Um, I don't know everything. I definitely don't know everything, but I want you to hear this and I want you to know this. You've got this, and I know that you're going to take what I've shared with you, you're going to internalize it and turn it into your way, your operating system when you go to these events. And that brings me great joy, but I hope it brings you great success. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, you can always email me, joshua@worldvia.com, or hit me up on social media. I'm at Joshua Harrell most places, and at Josh Harrell at some other places, but I'm sure you can find me. I don't hide. I may want to hide in my hotel room, but I want to always make sure that I am open and available to that river and where it takes us. Okay. So reach out, share your tips, your tricks, and let's celebrate some wins together. All right. All right. Until next time, see you real soon. Bye.